There we go. That took me a while, ladies and gentlemen, because I have a VPN on here in Mexico, and it wasn't letting me go live, but now we are live. So we're reporting live from Puerto Escondido. Haven't gone live in a minute, but I'm back, and it's nice to see you all. For those of you that are tapping in right now, say what's up. Let me know where you're calling in from. And let's just get into it. Let's have a conversation. Let's hang out, chilling here. I don't know. It's like 75 degrees. It's 8:51 p.m. And I miss you guys. I've been doing a lot of inner work, a lot of inner reflecting and asking questions what I want next for my life. And here we are. So don't be shy. Say what's up in the chat and we'll get going. We're having to figure out the streaming setup here in Mexico because the Wi-Fi is a little spotty. So we're working on it. We're just going to hang out and chat and talk and reflecting on a bunch of stuff. So once kind of people get on, get settled, we'll make it happen. There's a few of you here right now. Say what's up. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I want to talk to you. I love talking to you. I'm here in Puerto Escondido with two of my friends, EK and Jackson. We're living together. We got a nice spot. I'm in the backyard right now. I can turn and look at you because I got my camera set up here. I've also got the streaming set up here where I can see any comments that come in. But we're hanging out. Next thing to solve is like a lighting situation. Hannah, thank you for the amazing comment on my video. I appreciate it. I remember you. You said this is gold, and I really do appreciate that. You guys like the lighting? We're gonna have to work on it, but we're gonna need another tripod. Hannah, where are you from? Maybe I can set this up right here and see what happens for now. Oh. Big G with the big vitamin D intake today. Yes, I am a little sunburned. You can even see it right now. Don't worry, we're working on the tan. We're working on the tan. Do you guys care if the lighting is good or not? Like this is like, it feels like I'm about to tell a scary story. But this is what we got going on. Eton, my guy. I love the vibes too, my friend. Hannah is from Texas. I love that. Austin's one of my favorite spots. I definitely want to come back there. And the vibes, Eton, they're amazing. Like they really are. She said, yeehaw, yeehaw. Exactly. I'm going to be working on addressing both of you here. But the lighting is something we're still going to solve in the future. Might need another tripod. We set this back. But let's chat. The lighting is kind of meh. I know. We're thugging it out here in Puerto Escondido. We don't got a full studio set up, but we do have a beautiful backyard. We'll make up for it in conversation. How about that? Hannah, Eton. Ooh, Ben Steffens. Chattanooga, Tennessee. I love that. If you guys have been watching my recent videos, what are some of the biggest things that stood out? Were there any like nuggets of wisdom or lightning in a bottle moments where something stood out to you? Let's kind of dive into it. Let's converse. Let's hang out. Eton said, you do some laps in the pool yet? I don't know if you can see how big it is, but it's maybe like 2 body lengths. I don't know if I can do full laps in that. It might be like 10 feet across, if that. Aaron says, based off your title, this is something that frustrates me the most. I feel I have given up and still nothing happens. Well, that's understandable because we're not giving up. We're restoring our faith. Like surrender and letting go is not like an act of doing nothing. It's not an act of giving up. It's not an act of, well, life's just not going to be the way I want it. It's like a restoration of a mindset and a level of awareness and a perception that you achieve through action. And that action is paradoxical because when I say surrender, people are like, you mean just give up and do nothing? No, not really. What I mean is it's all like internal work. It's the ability to let go of inner resistance. So, Aaron, when you say, this is something that frustrates me the most, that is the thing that needs to be surrendered because that's the negative state that you're like perpetually recreating consciously or unconsciously. Does that make sense? It's not an act of like doing nothing. Like if you have goals, it's not giving up on those goals. It's finding freedom and not needing that external validation if those things do or do not happen. Because the challenge is even if you don't have something, right? If you want a level of success in business, if you want a relationship, if you want X, Y, and Z, a new career, to lose weight, like if your identity and your peace of mind like relies on that thing happening, you're going to be stuck in like a perpetual unconscious loop. Versus if you can just detach from the external world for a moment and you could come internally and find some peace, just be like, whatever it is. Like for me personally, I've got so much faith where the only thing I know is that I don't know. I don't know what the creator looks like. I don't know what God looks like. I don't know where he is, what he's doing, what he's up to, right? But I do know that those things are happening, that there is a divine intelligence guiding all things. And I can rest easy in that. And that gives me like an inner freedom and an inner confidence to make decisions. Like if I were desperate upon things changing, I would have stayed in San Diego and I wouldn't be here in Mexico because I would have been like trying to siphon whatever validation I needed from those things. Let me know if that's making sense. We could break any of it down. I still got to work on like the whole studio setup. Eton says, you ever read into the Kabbalah? Your esoteric approach is very Kabbalist. I've never really like dove into it. Like I have a general concept of like what the occult and the esoteric wisdom is. But I'd say like the greatest thing that I've had to learn is that like, if you're into the esoteric wisdom, if you're into the occult, like that's very like, focused on the self. Like that is me saying, hey, Grant is in control. Like Grant is the one pulling all these invisible strings. And that just like, I don't like that feeling. Like I don't like bearing the weight of these invisible forces, these celestial forces, these divine forces upon myself. Like I'm literally just a 26-year-old here in Mexico trying to eat tacos. Dan says, I'm Mexican, enjoy Puerto Grant. It's my second home. Question, how do you deal with envy and opinion of others to go for your dreams? That's a great question, Dan. I'd say in regards to the envy is something like you can find peace in, like just becoming aware of the emotion. But the odds are you're experiencing envy because you're not taking action on your dreams, right? Like the only reason you would compare your journey to someone else's is if like deep down, you know, you're not making like the decisions that you need to make for yourself. That's where I find myself always challenged is like, how am I growing in regards to other people? Like comparing my journey, comparing my views, comparing like how quick things are happening. But it's like none of that matters because I'm going to miss my life if I'm so focused on someone else's. I was like really thinking about that today. I was like, there's no other place I'd rather be than the present moment, because this is my life and I'm never going to get to experience this moment again. Like this live stream with the 13 of you here right now is only going to happen one time. And if I'm focused on being somewhere else, I'm going to miss it. Max says, "What's up, Grant? Greatly appreciate all you do. Love, my friend. Thank you for the kind words." Aaron, my guy, much love for your vids. I'm glad you guys are getting a lot out of it. I had to go through like a lot of inner work to kind of like shift my content strategy, because you've been watching me for a while. Like I've been on the whiteboards. I talk about the neuroscience, the subconscious, all that type of stuff. And like, I kind of like siphoned all I needed out of that mindset and that knowledge base in my own life. So if I just like kept talking about it and kept like beating a dead horse and kept trying to squeeze the juice out of an orange that had no more juice, then like I'm no better than the rest of us on the internet. And I had to like evolve and change and let my knowledge grow and like surrender more, which is why like I have confidence just sitting in the grass or sitting in the nature and talking to you guys for 30 minutes. So that's just kind of a little bit about like my journey and like the things I've been going through personally. But thank you guys for the kind words. Aaron says, "Did you read Reality Transurfing?" I did not read Reality Transurfing. I definitely have like an idea of some of the concepts in it, but nothing I really like dove into too much. Bob says, "Been a while. I know it's not by coincidence when I do end up tuning in." I love to hear that. I'm glad I can be part of your journey. Hannah says, "What does daily surrender look like as you go about your day?" All right. To like better understand surrender, let's change the moment. Like you're trying to inflict your own personal will. You're saying this version of Grant is naive and doesn't understand what's going on. Ooh. Is my connection still there? Can you guys, if I'm still live, did I disconnect for a second? Are we still there? Just let me know, because I got a disconnection warning. Okay, we are live. Beautiful. Hannah, daily surrender. Inflicting your will and trying to control it and like use the human intellect and the ego is like the opposite of what you want to be doing. That's me saying Grant knows better than the life force that has created all things. Grant knows better than the divine intelligence that is changing the seasons and birthing new cycles and allowing the earth to be at the perfect distance from the moon, so we have waves, and those waves crash on the sea and give us sea life. Like sometimes you have to let go of what you're so used to and what you're trying to control and like the rigid frame you have of the world, to like kind of sit back and be like, there's the big picture. I was so focused on this tunnel vision because I was like honed in on this one idea I had that I had to go this one way, that I like fell back and then I observed the big picture. The best way to describe surrender is like it's an internal experience. Like it's not just like you intellectually telling yourself like, I don't care if this girl that I'm interested in texts me back, when on the inside you're feeling anxiety about that. It's actually like acknowledging the fact that you're having these thoughts and just choosing to sit with the emotion and surrender it and just sit with it until it dissolves. So surrender is like a very viscerally internal experience. Dan says, "I didn't explain myself. I receive a lot of envy recently, and since I'm too sensitive, I tend to shrink not to make others. Okay. I'm sensitive. I tend to shrink to not make others uncomfortable." Have you experienced this? Definitely. I took like a very unconventional route. I'm a social media creator. I work with creators. Like my life by default is just like different than other people's. But you don't need to like flaunt your feathers or like peacock and be like, ooh, look at me. Like if people have envy, that's like their experience, and you're not like responsible for what someone feels. But I'd always just encourage you to be like a welcoming, open-hearted, open-minded person that's always like leveling the playing field with people. Like, I never want to feel better than or worse than someone. So I'm not even going to entertain that conversation in the first place. If that's making sense. Yes, McCarthy. McCarthy says, love your videos. I've done a lot of inner work. Letting go of things is key. The validation, the expectation, right? It's because it's like our human mind trying to predict experience. It's like trying to predict our life for safety, right? So like we seek validation because we want to fit in and we feel like we're welcome here. We expect something because we think, hey, as soon as I get that dollar amount, as soon as I get that car, I'm going to get happiness. But that's like you like forecasting an event that doesn't exist. Aaron says, what is the best way of accepting myself? The journey to accepting yourself starts with making peace where you are. For example, there's a period of time where I was smoking a lot of weed. I was drinking a lot. I was partying. And like on paper, I looked like I had it all figured out. I was making money, an entrepreneur, lived in my downtown apartment. Was like, oh, these are all the things 19-year-old Grant wanted. And I achieved them by 24. But on the inside, I felt empty. And the more I like ignored that, and the more I rejected that, and the more I was upset that I was living that life, the more I recreated it in my own. So the journey to self-acceptance starts with being okay with that. I had to be like, okay, so here I am. I just smoked some weed. I just did some Uber Eats. It is what it is. But if I'm upset about this, then I'm just going to be recreating that experience. Bob, I love to hear that you're using these insights. They're like universal principles, right? Like when you have a greater sense of self-awareness, because I have so much awareness about myself, I understand that we have like a very similar experience, all of us. Everyone here on this live is having a very similar experience, even though we think we're different. The ego wants to hold on to all the negative things that make us feel validated in our suffering, make us feel like a victim. But that's not the case. All right, ladies and gentlemen, drop a 1 in the chat if all of this is making sense. And drop a 1 in the chat if you want to like show up to events and lives and be a part of like a community that has this conversation more often than not. Because it's something I really want to do. And I can't do it without you guys. Like, I want to be having the conversation. I want to be doing this every day. It's the only thing I care about. It's the only conversation worth having. Okay, there we go. We got some 1s rolling in. Dan says, Mac, I love you too. I love you too. Dan says, I'm curious on how your journey was to live the life you are living. Was it a decision, an aha moment, or more like consistent action? I'd say D, all of the above. Like, there were so many things that happened. There were decisions I made that were separate from the herd, right? I made decisions as a trailblazer that just didn't make sense to everyone else. There were aha moments. I've had so many spiritual lightning in a bottle moments that I'm like, oh my God, it's clear as day, big picture. But there had to be a lot of consistent action. A lot of it was consistent action, and it was like showing up day to day when things were boring and I was confused and I wasn't sure where life was going to take me. Like, so if you're experiencing that right now, just know it's part of your journey. Like, it's all part of that journey. And Bob, I agree. It's so important to have these moments of connection with each other. All right, let me do something right now. If you guys want, I have a Telegram group chat that I kind of like subtly dropped in the last YouTube video, and I'm just gonna pin it right now so you can like join. All all right, we're going to work on that right now. But Bob, I agree. It's important to have connection with each other. So I'm going to drop the link in here. If you guys want to join, it's free. Like, I'm not doing anything paid. Like, it's literally just a chat where I'm going to send you messages. I'm going to send you voice notes. I'm going to check in with you daily. And we're just kind of like getting people together. It's something I really want to do. So we're going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. So Aaron says, I got my life together pretty well, but I keep battling with smoking weed every day. Should I let go of the fighting with it and just accept it as a thing I do? What I would do is not necessarily let go like that. More like, all right, it's an internal experience. So I'm going to break this down for you. Whenever you feel the urge to smoke weed, it's like a pattern. It's like your body knows that at 7:30 p.m. after you clock out of work, you're going to smoke that joint. So it's expecting it. It's like an anxiety that going to do that. What you should let go of and surrender at that moment. See what happens when you say no for the first time. Just go one day. I haven't smoked weed in over a year and a half. Like, I stopped in 2024. I stopped drinking. Like, I'm fully sober. All right, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to join that Telegram chat, you can put it right here. I'm pinning it, so you can join that and just hang out with me. It'll be great. Oh, I think I double sent it. And if you guys hear extra noise, it's because we're in Mexico. There's just going to be random noises. There's just going to be streets on the car. There's the construction crew that sleeps next door. It's life. It's real. It's raw. Yeah, Steve says, celebrate recovery. Christian-based 12-step, help me drop weed. That's great. There's also the Alcoholics Anonymous. Alcoholics Anonymous is like one of the most highly calibrated philosophies and way of life on the map of consciousness. And drop a 2 in the chat if the Telegram link is working. If you want to be a part of that community where I'm just going to send you messages every day and send voice notes and hang out, drop a 2 to let me know if it's working. I'll put it in like the description of this live too for like people watching it. Dan says, thanks for being you. Love what you do. I appreciate you. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. You guys are very kind. What do you feel when the crave to have a girlfriend kicks in? What have you learned about yourself when that happens? So there's a way to look at this. And my friend that's sitting in the living room right now, like, we had a conversation about this. And he says, do you want to have a wife or do you want to be a good husband? And that's like a very simple phrase that encapsulates deep wisdom, right? It's the concept of power versus force. Do you want a girlfriend or a partner to validate a sense of emptiness, like a deep misalignment because you're not being the version of yourself you want to be? Or are you willing to let go of that craving and go be the version of yourself that has to do the things required to level up as an individual and build the garden so the butterflies show up? Me personally, I'm in a place where I just say no a lot. Like, I'm looking for the mother to my children, and I want to be an amazing father and husband. Like, those are my goals. And I'm not like interested in like the quick and cheap relationships, right? Like, I don't need that validation. Like, I'm not even going to entertain it because it's like, if I've got that void in myself, I'm going to be messing with someone else when they're like actually enjoying my company and falling in love with me. And I'm just like messing with them, you know? But I understand it can be hard. I think like the dating game is like very messed up, especially in like the Western civilization, because like we're like the target of the programming, like we are the Matrix. But I would say going to other parts of the world, you realize like there's so much different culture and value that you will find what you're looking for. You just have to explore and be open and adventure. I hope that's making sense. All right, we got a 2 in there saying that the Telegram group is working. That's amazing. For those of you here right now, are you interested in me live streaming more? Like, do you like the live setting as much as you like the YouTube videos? Drop a 3 in the chat if you want me to live stream multiple times a week. This is something like I used to do a lot last summer. Bob, thank you. Drop a 3 if you want me to live stream more. Like, this is something I want to do. Like, I enjoy it. I've got a lot of time on my hands, and we figured out the setup in Mexico. We just got to get bug spray next time. The entire time I've just been itching. I see some of you joining the Telegram. Thank you. And we'll live stream more. I feel like this is like the most important conversation to have. And I think like before we look at our own lives and all the goals and like steps to be taken to evolve as an individual, like I think it's really important to learn to surrender to a higher power. And this is something like I'm gonna kind of dive into right now. So many times, like if we're not living a like surrendered life or a God-centered life or a universe-centered life or a Tao-centered life, right? I wholeheartedly believe everything is a label describing a state, describing a presence. And I'm going to go into this right now. And Steve, I will answer your question, but I want to dive into this right now because this is something that blew my mind and continues to blow my mind when I reflect on it. And it's something that I really want to just share with you guys right now. So I saw this Alan Watts video, and he was talking about Jesus. And what Alan Watts was saying was that Jesus's original followers were called the Way. Like they were literally as a group called the Way. You can fact check me. I don't know if it's true, but it makes a lot of sense when you dive into it. And they were called the Way because they were following a direction, not a dogma. And this is going to be the hill that I die on. This is going to be the difference in everything I say and everything I do. And this is going to be the one thing that people always argue me on in the comments. Do I believe in Jesus Christ? Yes. But do I believe that there is an entirely other important side to the story that a lot of people are missing? Yes. And it all starts with that like fundamental concept. And what Alan Watts was saying is that what Jesus was pointing to was a recognition of a presence, not the worship of a person. So I'm going to double back on that concept. Attention. The followers were called the Way originally because they were following a direction, not a dogma. A direction is an internal state that you make actions out of. And what Jesus was pointing to was the recognition of a presence, not the worship of a person. That's what he means in the Bible when he says the kingdom of heaven is within you. Like the things we seek. The reason you guys watch my YouTube channel, the reason you want to have this conversation and be a part of these communities is because deep down you know there's an answer in your soul. Now, me personally, I don't really care about the dogma. I don't really care about the doctrine. I don't care about the theology. With all the things coming about the elites and all the crazy shit, we don't know what and how much of history people have doctored. But one thing I do know is that the one thing they could never take from us is this divine state, this connection, this presence, this awareness of a truth that exists. Now, before I move on, drop a 1 in the chat if I'm making sense so far. Drop a 1 in the chat if I'm making sense about. It's about the recognition of a presence, a connection to something bigger than yourself, not the worship of a person. It's about following a direction, not a dogma. Drop a 1 in the chat. This is making sense. All right, we got some 1s rolling in. Now, to continue this, what we all seek is a living, breathing relationship with the divine. Not through fear, but through awareness. This is why surrender is the most powerful tool, because there's no thing you could do to enter the kingdom of heaven. That's not how it works, because it is already your right. You are already anointed. One of my favorite songs is a song by Justin Bieber and Thames, and it opens with, "Just know you are already forgiven. You don't have to go the distance. Take the power you've been given. Don't you know that all of us are destined?" It is like the complete, I get goosebumps thinking about it. And this is what I realized, like, I had to change because I was like putting all these barriers and limitations between you guys and the state you were seeking, and I was doing it unconsciously. The dispensa, the subconscious mind, the neuroscience, the religion, the doctrine, the dogma, those are all external things that we're treating like gateways to an experience that is rightfully ours. It is ours in this exact moment. And it is found when you let go. When you just say, I don't care about all this crazy stuff going on in the world. And you just recognize that in this moment, you are one with creation. You are one with the creator. And when you truly like rest in that awareness, like find peace in that, it completely reorients your perspective about the world, because you're going to realize that you did that because you let go of your reliance on all these external things, all these false idols, all these people that we idolize. You were the thing giving yourself that experience through your awareness, through what you placed your focus on, through what you placed your awareness on. Our universe. That is the answer. That is what surrender is. Now let me know if you want me to dive into it further, if you've got any questions. Let me know if I'm making sense. Let me know if I'm sounding crazy. But that is it. Like, that's like the simplest thing. And it takes time. It takes practice. I think it was, who asked me? Dan earlier was like, I'm curious on how was your journey to live the life you are living? Was it a decision, an aha moment, or more like consistent action? It was all of those things. And I'm still going to have to go through those things today to have that experience. Like, just because I intellectualize it, just because I know that's the answer, doesn't mean that I'm experiencing it if I'm not doing the work. Surrender is like a total acceptance. It's the acceptance of the idea that sometimes you're not going to be aware that God's got a hand in your life. It's the acceptance of the idea that God has a hand in your life. It is the acceptance of the idea that, who knows, any religion on any day could be right. It is the acceptance on any given day that any religion could be wrong. Because all of those things are like secondary pieces of information. someone had an experience. It's like a game of telephone. Someone had this first experience of surrender and experienced the grace of the Creator, the grace of God, an ultimate eternal state of wholeness, oneness, presence, and love. And in that moment had access to all this divine revelation, all this wonder, understood what miracles were, experienced power and information and connection beyond all comprehension. Then they go home from work and they're like, honey, you are not going to believe what just happened. I met God. Right? Human language is like trying to encapsulate this thing that is ineffable. And tell me if I'm wrong, but for most people, we're just seeking peace. Like, we're just seeking faith and trust. The whole reason we're seeking money, success, fame, clout, validation in the first place is because we're missing something within. We have like a God-centered hole. But when you can restore that and you can have trust and faith in that truth and that awareness, all the things you once needed to numb yourself or give yourself dopamine just falls away effortlessly. Like, it really happens like that. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're on my wave. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're picking up what I'm putting down. And drop a 2 in the chat if you're like, Grant, I kind of get it. Still working on that whole surrender thing. I intellectually get it, but we're going to work on the internal experience some more. I want to get a feeling for where everyone's at. All right, we got some 1s rolling in. Bob, Hannah, McCarthy, Mac. You guys are still all riding the wave. We're still going 37 minutes in. Mac, ask a question. If you drop a 2, let's dive into it. Let's dive into it. And if anyone has any questions or things they'd like to add, go ahead. Just trying to take a moment to let that sink in. Someone said, this is a quote from an Instagram post, but it said, "The way is not for the faint of heart. It truly requires constant surrender, transformation, and facing the darkest parts of yourself and the collective to find compassion and unconditional love. This path is so intense and worth every step." Bob says, "Surrender to me means going through it instead of around it." Yes. Designer said, "I just posted a clip of your live on my Instagram as the audio." That's awesome. Tag me in it. Tag me in it. Surrender to me means allowing the ultimate intelligence, the divine intelligence that is, to govern my life. And to make decisions daily that remove my will from the equation. Because the ultimate form of trust is letting go. Because if you actually let go and surrender, you have a deep knowing. Not a, maybe this will work out. But if you actually, to your core, know that the divine intelligence that moves all things is moving your life as well, you will become a clear vessel to interpret the experience. Like for me, there have been so many signs along the way, so many patterns, so many synchronicities that led me to this moment where I'm here in Mexico live streaming to you guys. Drop a 3 in the chat if you're enjoying the live stream so far. Drop a 3 if you enjoy this setting. Ooh, Dan, that's a great question. How does that trust feel in the body? It is like a pulsating stillness. It's stillness, it's peace. It's like rest. Like, if you've ever been like ultimately present, you're just so in the moment that you're not thinking about other things. You're not anxious. It's just like it's how you feel after a deep breath. Everyone do that with me. Big inhale and an even bigger exhale. Like after that exhale and you just feel all the weight disappear and disperse. That's what it feels like. Timothy said, how long did it take to reprogram your subconscious mind? Well, Timothy, I got a piece of advice for you. If you want to reprogram your subconscious mind, stop thinking about reprogramming your subconscious mind, because that just causes too many issues. Like if you're so focused on hyperanalyzing yourself, you're going to make a decision that you wish you didn't make. And you're going to be like, oh my God, it's all my fault. Everything I work for to reprogram myself is going to fall apart. Like that's not it. Like you can reprogram yourself by living the teachings of the greatest teachers. Like, so you're actually going to reprogram your subconscious mind by surrendering. That's one thing that I'm aiming to evolve as I go forward as a creator, is like just solely focusing on the things that are going to give you guys the transformation you seek, not like diving into the details. Mad Dog says, when I do the deep breath for a while, I feel so much energy in my belly and my heart. How do I release this? Create. That's like inspire, like inspiration. Inspiration is like Latin or Spanish or something that means to breathe in. Like that energy, like, is inspiring. Like it's energy to be used to create. Like the reason people have so much anxiety is because they're sitting on it. Like they're not making decisions. Like I was feeling that energy in my belly and my heart when my friend was like, watch this show called The Lincoln Lawyer. And I was like, yes. But then I sat there for 2 minutes and was like, I need to go live. So here we are, 45 minutes into a live stream. And we just got back from Mexico City and our throat's a little torched from the altitude. So if I lose my voice, then I lose my voice. But Mad Dog, like use that energy to make a decision where you want to go. Of course, Dan. Of course I know what that is. Being a vessel. That's why I've chosen to make this my career, because it's like, that is my communion with God. Like as much as it sounds weird, like there's been moments where I've live streamed in the past and I felt like God was standing there right with me. Like just being like, this is exactly what they need. Here's the next thing to say. But like, you don't gotta like walk around and say that type of stuff, because like, for example, right now, like over this live stream, like I don't feel like that. Like I'm just here now, 10 toes down, you know? Like I have those crazy moments where it's just like electric and I'm like, I'm connected to it all. And then I have the moments where I'm like, this is my first live stream back in 6 months, 4 to 6 months, 3 to 4 months. And I'm just here showing up, right? This is kind of like the thing that goes back to Do it on your good days and do it on your bad days type of thing. Sorry, if you see me bending over, it's because my ankles are getting attacked by these bugs. But I hope everything's resonating with you guys. I hope you enjoy these conversations. I hope like you get something from them. Like that's all I could want, is to know that you guys take some type of information and are better off because of it. If you guys are just tuning in, I pinned something at the top of the chat. It's my Telegram. It's a community. I just got like a bunch of messages in there, and we just chat. And like whenever you're at work, you're going to get a random text from me, and I'm going to be like, here's one of the messages I first wrote. I said, freedom and inner peace is an internal acceptance. It is the death of all fighting, an allowance of life's ups and downs. When you truly accept the moment and let go of all internal resistance or judgments, you will be truly set free. To truly create the state within requires a surrender to a power greater than oneself. God and the infinite intelligence that is life has evolved for millions of years. And you're worried? Rest easy in trust. Rest easy in faith. Find the peace in this moment and follow that feeling in all you do. You guys, I love this conversation. Go check out the Telegram. Designer says, I'm struggling on the part where we can't serve two masters. What's your thought on that? Well, designer, it's okay to like bounce back and forth between that, right? There's going to be weeks at a time where you're feeling fully surrendered and you're fully tapped into the information and you're feeling on top of the world. And then you're going to make one decision where you eat a gas station snack and you're like, I shouldn't have done that. But because I did that, let me say yes to these other things that I've said no to for a while. And you're going to spiral and you're going to make the material world your master again. And you're going to chase dopamine. You're going to chase pleasure. Like, it's okay. That's all part of the process. Just make peace with that journey and aim to be continuously better. Like, don't try and hit a home run in this moment. Like, show up every day. Aim to become more aware of your patterns, but also put your time, energy, and attention onto this type of wisdom. Like, the reason I make my YouTube videos is because I wish someone would have that conversation with me. Like today, sometimes I just go back and listen to videos of things I was saying because I'm like, oh my God, like I was kind of spitting, right? Like I'll just enter those flow states for 36 minutes and then like out of nowhere be like, what just happened? So 4 months later, I'll be laying on my roof tanning, which is why I'm sunburnt. I'm super sunburnt. Oh my God. And I'll just like go back in there. Like I'd say like I've been in a season where I've haven't been as like devoted to the high level wisdom because I feel like it's been needed to get in, or I've been needing to integrate it into my everyday life. Like I don't need to research or study surrender because it's something that I need to put to the test now. Like I need to do it in things that happen in my everyday life. But there's things that happen in my everyday life that send me back to the wisdom. And that was like yesterday. It was 2 days ago. Something happened that just sent me back. And I was like, we got to get back to it. Right. So it's gentle balance. It's you got 1 foot in your eternal self, 1 foot in your human self. If you guys are enjoying this live, drop a like. I want to do this more. Like, I don't want to be like a brain rot live streamer. Like, I don't want to get on and just do just for the pure sake of entertainment. Like, I want to be a creator that has a lot of people show up just because their state is changed by the end of it and they feel like they're a part of a conversation they've wanted to have for a while. Dan with all the great questions. What's the biggest internal death fight you needed to end? That's one way to word it. The biggest thing that I've needed to surrender internally was my devotion to my purpose. Like, one thing about me is, like, I truly believe I was put on this earth to do this thing. Like, this exact conversation I'm having, I will look crazy in front of the world because I know it's a conversation that needs to be had. And I don't really care what people think about me. I don't really do it to be liked. I do it because it was something I needed so desperately, and it changed my life forever. Like, forever. It will never be the same. But you can kind of get like a hero complex. And that was something when I was younger that I had to overcome. And that was like one of the biggest things. It was like, if like God gave me this gift and God gave me this purpose, why isn't it happening now? So I had to surrender that. That was like the biggest inner thing I had to surrender. Designer, I appreciate you, my friend. Got nothing but love for you. I'm glad I helped you in some way. And I hope to see you again. I hope to see you again because I'm going to remember your name. You guys probably don't expect it, but like, especially live streaming, like I remember everyone that's like really engaged with me and like really tapped in on the process. So like Mad Dog, I always see your comments. Like Dan and Aaron and Hannah, you guys are people that have stuck around a lot. So I appreciate it. We're going to be getting back to live streaming full time. Partially one of the reasons I put the Telegram together is because I'm going to just be like telling you guys when I'm going live in there too. If you want to like come join, like I'll probably tell you the day of. And you can come join me and come hang out and we'll just be chatting. But I'm blessed with this opportunity. I love this conversation and everything I do, and I couldn't do it without you guys. So I just want to say thank you as my voice is just fading. If it sounds like I'm losing energy, it's because like literally my voice is scratchy and I can't pip a squeak out. I think we're going to call it here in a minute or two. So if you guys have got any final questions or things you want to talk about, hit me with it. Drop a 1 in the chat if you enjoyed this stream and you'll be here next time. But I appreciate you guys all for tuning in. I'm going to put the Telegram link in the description for everyone that watches this after. But I'm excited to be back, ladies and gentlemen. And I promise I'll wear sunscreen. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. And thanks for being so engaged the whole time. You asked some great questions. And you get what you want, or you get what you give. So I appreciate that. And I hope you took something from this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got nothing but love. Peace. You're welcome, Mad Dog.